Good morning, everyone. I wanted to talk about a few different ways that you can look at your assemblies and analyze, either see what constraints have been applied to it or see where you still have degrees of freedom. So the first option to see what constraints have been applied, it's going to be in this tab, Assemble, under Relationships. You can either highlight the piece that you want to show the relationships for, or you can click them afterwards, but the button is Show Relationship. And you'll get these little glyph pop-ups that tell you how things were constrained. So you can see the insert constraint, all the insert constraints here. And then if you wanted to just hide it, there's a hide all button that you can use. If you wanted to just look at one element, you could do that. You could select the element after. I think if you reselect it, nope, I thought it would disappear, but it didn't. The other option is to go, so that's to see the constraint relationship. So that'll help you determine where you're missing constraints, which will help you figure out if you still have degrees of freedom in your assembly. But another option for doing that is going to this top tab, View, and then going over to Visibility and selecting this Degrees of Freedom tool, or Control-Shift-E, and that will show you where there's still degrees of freedom. So if you see there's some arrows showing me that there's still a rotational degree of freedom in this element. There's still rotational degree of freedom here and here. And then this would be a second pattern. So this is the rotational degree of freedom for these 4 outer bolts, and this is for these 2 center bolts. These green cubes will show you where you have parts that are not constrained, that are close to parts that are not completely constrained, or they're not completely constrained to that part. In this case, I'm not super concerned about it because I know that if I have, oh my goodness, if I have all of this constrained properly, the cap and the base constrained together properly, I only need to constrain the bolt to one of the 2, and that movement will be restricted. So I'm aware that this is here, and I'm okay with it in this instance. It just gives you the flag to check that and to make sure that you're good. And then also you'll see lateral arrows if you remove any of your constraints. So if we were to open up this one and just delete this constraint, right click and delete, and now degrees of freedom. Do you see now all these green arrows in here that show that I can move this part along any of the axes, as well as rotationally around any of the axes, because you can see there's an arrow going out in each direction, and then there's a circle around it. So just if you're trying to troubleshoot some of your assemblies, this is a good way to do it. All right. Thank you, everyone.